Let me read to you a passage from the 10th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 7 to 15. It's the Gospel for Thursday of the 14th week in Ordinary Time. St. Matthew writes, Jesus said to his apostles, "As you go, preach this message. The kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not take along any gold or silver or copper in your belts. Take no bag for the journey, or extra tunic, or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search for someone worthy and stay at his house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, your peace will rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town. I tell you the truth, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town." That's from Matthew chapter 10, verses 7 to 15. What does it suggest to us? Well, it suggests thoughts on that point of no gold or silver. What do I mean? Well, it is said that when Joseph Stalin was told that Pope Pius XII opposed his policies, and indeed communism itself, he contemptuously replied, "And how many divisions has the Pope?" During the Second World War, through skillful restraint, Pope Pius XII maintained the power of papal prestige and was able to assist numerous hunted individuals. Nevertheless, he was at the mercy of any sudden German intervention. He had, of course, no divisions. Hitler was planning to arrest him and occupy the Vatican, and he could easily have done this had he not been persuaded off by advisors who were on the spot. In February 1798, General Berthier, the French general, marched into Rome and seized the Pope, who died away from Rome soon after, in captivity. After Pope Pius VII excommunicated Bonaparte, he was arrested, taken elsewhere, and kept in confinement for some 6 years. All of this illustrates the directions our Lord gave to his apostles in the Gospel passage I read earlier, as he sent them ahead to preach that the kingdom of heaven was near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not take along any gold or silver or copper in your belts. Take no bag for the journey, or extra tunic, or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. That is to say, Christ was sending them out as his warriors of the kingdom, but they were being given no gold or silver or copper, no bag or extra tunic, in a word, no worldly weapons to advance the kingdom. All they had was his word and his presence with them. That was enough, and the method of victory was to be the cross. They were to take up their cross every day and follow in the footsteps of the Master, and he had been, seemingly, defeated. At the end of all his efforts, Christ hung dead on the cross outside Jerusalem. The weapon of the Master was obedience amid suffering, bearing witness to the truth amid rejection, acceptance of the cross amid seeming abandonment by God and man. The path to victory for the King of Kings is poverty of worldly means and apparent defeat by enemies. But it is precisely this that leads to glory and victory. It is essential for the triumph of God's kingdom that Christ's disciples be patient in the apparent poverty of their means. On September the 12th, 2006, in the academic quiet of the German University of Regensburg, Pope Benedict XVI gave a profound lecture on the importance of reason in religious faith. Faith and reason are interdependent, and in his works God is rational. The most distinguished department of rhetoric in Germany, at Tübingen, later gave to this address the award of Address of the Year in German. But Islam was in flames at the Pope's passing citation of a medieval dialogue, and the Pope is left alone amid the thunder. He has no divisions, only the cross of Christ. He endures it patiently and emerges with representatives of Islam at the table seeking regular dialogue with the Church, and that was set in place. There is a pattern in the Church's most authentic work. It is that if the word of Christ is to be obeyed, and if his path is to be followed, the cross will be the sword and the shield to be used. That is the weapon of the Master. That is the weapon he bore, and that is the weapon his disciples will be given. The temptation will be to let such weapons as this fall from the hand, and to seize other weapons, the weapons of the world, praise, honour, convenience, wealth. The Christian must understand the way of Christ and be patient amid the difficulty that constitutes this way. In the famous spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius Loyola, there is a meditation entitled The Two Standards. The one doing the retreat is asked to imagine a great field in the region of Jerusalem, and in that field is the supreme captain, Jesus Christ. Then the retreatant is asked to imagine a field in the region of Babylon, where there is standing in his splendour the other great leader, Lucifer. Lucifer speaks to his minions, commanding that they tempt all with the prospect of riches and honours, and in a word, pride. Jesus Christ speaks, and the path of his followers is to be spiritual poverty, actual poverty, and humiliations. In a word, to use Stalin's expression, there are to be no worldly divisions. Victory will come from carrying the cross. The characteristic path of the Christian is that there be no gold or silver or copper in your belts, no bag for the journey or extra tunic or sandals or a staff. Of course, these words of Christ applied to a very specific situation of the disciples whom he was sending out ahead of him during his public ministry, but they are symbolic of the deeper reliance on Christ and his word rather than on the means that the world regards so highly. We must use, of course, the things of the world in accord with God's will and our particular vocation, but in and through it all, our true support is the presence, the power, and the grace of Christ. Without this, all the other is nothing at all.